welcome to the Footy Family Podcast. It is July 6th, 2026. We are here to review and preview. I am your host, Nick Potowski. I'm along with my sons, Axel and Luke. As you notice, if you're watching on YouTube, we're wearing Belgium kits tonight. As explained in multiple other podcasts, we have an affinity for Belgium. We're also U.S. fans, so we are somewhat disappointed today with the result. But anyway, we're here to review the two games that happened in the World Cup and preview the next two games. Portugal today defeated Spain. Spain defeated Portugal.
Was defeated.
Yeah, Portugal was defeated by Spain 1-0, and the U.S. was defeated by Belgium 4-0.
4-1.
4-1. Jesus, I'm off. Can you tell, listener, that I'm discombobulated? I'm discombobulated because I have been racking my brain as to why all three host nations have gone out in essentially the round we would have highly expected them to. But we'll get on to more of that later. Let's start with what was a fairly boring match. Portugal versus Spain, the number 5 Portugal against number 2 Spain, ends 1-0 Spain, with Spain scoring in the 90 plus 1 minute. Axel, take us through what happened here, which is, frankly speaking, not a lot.
So Portugal, the 5th ranked seed, lost to Spain, the 2nd ranked seed. Between stats, it's even kind of in possession, 45% for Portugal and 55% for Spain. In XGs, or expected goals, it's 2 for Spain and 0.5 for Portugal. And if you go through the stats, Spain seems to win on every one. I thought Portugal was going to win yesterday, but upon watching the first couple minutes of the game, or first half, I could tell that Spain were obviously going to win. And I think that Roberto Martinez got it wrong, subbing in Semedo.
Well, he didn't have a choice because
yes,
Nuno Mendes went
anyone
down
else,
hard.
Dallo, you put Dallo and moved Cancelo to the other side, but still. And then the way that Spain won was just really boring. It's like
Ferran Torres passes through both center backs to Mikel Merino to run onto. It is actually
it's
a good...
lame.
Well, it's lame, and yet it's not. Because, two things, and Luke, tell me if you disagree. In essence, this game was as expected. I think we all knew it would be tight. We all knew Spain would probably win. We all knew... we didn't know how. We didn't know Nuno Mendes for Portugal would go off injured. We didn't know Semedo would have to come on. That's not what cost Portugal the game. They didn't have a plan B. Their midfield remained absent through this whole tournament. But what happened is actually valuable. In all the other games, when most teams are trying to score, they get it wide, they cross it in. But Spain did a slingshot. They passed, I can't remember who passed to Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres passes it back and gives and goes with Mikel Merino, who runs into the box. And Ferran Torres splits the center backs. Why more teams don't do this when they need to score? In essence, not getting it wide, not crossing it, but playing it on the ground and interchanging play with 1 or 2 touch passes. I give Spain ultimate credit for doing that. I don't know why it's so hard for other teams. The U.S. didn't come close to doing anything special like that tonight. Portugal couldn't do it. They had a Nuno Mendes shot go off the crossbar. He went out. Perhaps that's how it changed the game, but it wasn't like Lamine Yamal lit it up after. So Ronaldo did not much. Roberto Martinez used all his subs before time was out. Ronaldo remained on the field. Maybe they're not as mobile up front. But again, Luke, what happened to the Portuguese midfield here? They're just absent the whole tournament. No assists, no goals.
Well, Neves had a goal and Fernandez did have an assist.
I meant today,
yeah. Well, on football, both of them have good ratings, but obviously when you watch the game, they seemed absent to as why. No clue. Maybe it's the system they play. They play mostly out wide.
I think it's just quality against quality where nobody's taking a great deal of chances, and it's a tight game. Everybody on the pitch today is a great player. You saw Oyarzabal miss a pretty good chance early on the game for Spain. You know, maybe if that goal goes in early, then Portugal open up. I don't know, but the Portuguese are always very conservative. They were playing for 1-0 or to lose 1-0, and that's what happened. I don't know that there's much more to say about this game,
There
frankly.
wasn't much urgency with
Yeah,
it either.
I think this game after Spain scored, Portugal looked like they gave up. That they did give up.
Well, they
And
only have 5 minutes left, but
I know, but I think Portugal could have used a player like Bellingham, who says, "Screw it, we're not supposed to win.
Sure.
I don't care. I'm going to."
Yeah, ironically, I forget who crossed it into the box for Portugal in the 95th minute, but Bernardo Silva got on the end of it. And it's like, well, why is he getting on the end of it? And that to
Not
me,
Ronaldo.
and not Ronaldo, not a striker, not Goncalvo, what's his face? Goncalvo Ramos, my God. But it's like, that to me is the manager problem. Roberto Martinez is a decent manager. He's not a great manager. He didn't get it done with Belgium's golden generation. He didn't get it done with Portugal's. So we move on. Let's move on because we have something even more disappointing to discuss. Well,
Disappointing.
I mean, yes and no. Again, we're Americans. We're first and foremost England fans.
I'm 100% Belgium.
Okay, really? If England plays Belgium, who are you going to root for?
England, but because they're
Okay.
most likely to win.
He's a
Okay.
bandwagon.
He's a bandwagon fan. Anyway, the U.S. got destroyed tonight, 1-4 against Belgium. They lost only 1-0, I think it was, in 2002 to Belgium,
Oh my
even though
God.
it got destroyed then too, frankly, and Timmy Howard made 16 saves. But tonight was truly embarrassing. Embarrassing, folks. Christian Pulisic lost possession 11 times in 45 minutes. The most of any player of either team on the field. And this is supposed to be our superstar. I'm just saying that we're wearing Belgium kits for a reason. Not just because Luke's a Belgium fan, but this is U.S. soccer where it's hard to cheer for your home team because in the past 4 World Cups, we've done not much. We haven't... Yes, there's goodwill. Yes, football is growing in this country. I refuse to call it soccer tonight. But the reality is the national team has not progressed. They're not as good as they were in 2002. It's 24 years later, and we still fold at the first sign of good opposition. Not even great opposition, because this is not a great Belgium team. And Belgium didn't start De Bruyne, they didn't start Doku, and they didn't start Lukaku. But I'm going to hand it over. I'm going to hand it over to Luke. Luke, what the hell happened in this match?
Well, I won't go through every goal since every goal wasn't bad, but I will go through the goals that were mistakes by the goalkeeper and the 2 center backs.
Freeman Richards.
Well, that's every goal.
The goalkeeper, Matt Freese, I think he... how did he get the ball again?
Well, I think we should just take the listener through
We'll just go through
the goals in progression. So the first goal is a De Ketelaere, and take us through what happened.
Raskin, it's a missed shot, but basically it's a cross goal, and De Ketelaere just toe pokes it in, basically.
Yeah, because Serginho Dest and both center backs
No
are
one was
watching it
tracking it.
fall and not scanning. Okay, so 1-0, and then what happens?
Then does the U.S. score a free kick?
Malik Tillman, arguably the U.S. player of the tournament.
Technically, Belgium scored because
Robinson might go.
Vakin headed it
Headed
in,
it
and Courtois would have got it, but the change of direction made him go the wrong way. Then De Ketelaere scores again. Tielemans finds Trossard on the left flank, and Trossard,
Crosses in
yeah,
for De Ketelaere to just basically head in.
Yeah.
Tim Ream
bad defending.
If you're a player out there, this is bad defending. Watch this. Instead of playing the man, he plays the ball. If you're a defender, your job is to stop the opposition getting the ball. If that means you don't get the ball, then you don't get the ball. You back into your man and you prevent him from getting the ball, and the ball goes over him or drops to someone else. Anyway, Tim Ream did not do that, and it's 2-1.
Then Freese, the goalkeeper for the U.S., comes a long way out of his area to get the long ball sent by Mechelen,
Yeah.
Belgium center back, and he hits the ground with his foot, and the ball is taken away from him and by De Ketelaere,
And he
passes it to Van Hecken, who scores and redeems his header.
And he hits the ground with his foot because he's of two minds. Is he going to just boot it, which is what he should have done, or is he going to try to make this like killer pass and try to get them back into it? Don't make the killer pass. You keep the simple things simple, and you don't make mistakes. Huge mistake, 3-1. U.S. is screwed. And then
the ball,
Lukaku.
the right back, hits it into the Belgian defender. The ball falls to Chris Richards. Chris Richards tries to pass it to the Belgian player.
Tries to dribble out of the Belgian. Yeah.
Well, he tries to pass it through him. It hits.
Pass it through.
It helps Van Hecken. Goes to Lukaku. Lukaku takes a touch in the 18-yard box and shoots it bottom right-hand corner.
And if you're a listener, watch Lukaku's form. He's on the left side of the field, and he uses his right foot to score. That is what you're supposed to do to open your hip and hit the far post. Not use your near foot, which is what most of the U.S. players tried to do tonight, when and if they had shots, which were far and few between. We should note, Axel, Mauricio Pochettino made some subs tonight. He took off who, and why is that surprising?
He took off. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to it.
He
to
took
make sure
off.
I'm right.
Dest at half.
He took off. He took off Dest. He took off.
Pulisic.
Pulisic.
Pulisic was hurt.
He was hurt, but he got taken off, and he's made of glass, right? So, and Berhalter was better.
Pulisic, Tyler Adams.
So we
Anthony
end
Robinson.
a tournament in the U.S. with all the hype of the U.S. team, without our quote-unquote star player on the pitch, who basically did nothing from game one. Now, I know injury gets in the way, but injury's gotten in the way of a lot of his career. And I don't know Christian Pulisic. I can't say anything about him as a person. I'm not impressed. This is not the future of U.S. football. The future of U.S. football has to be something else. I don't know exactly what. I would like it to be more like Malik Tillman. I would have liked Gio Reyna to have more time. I would have liked to see more of some of the other guys who rode the bench and didn't get time. Haji Wright, who plays in championship, which is arguably, well, let's just go through them. Like, Haji Wright, why the hell didn't, okay, let's start again. Gio Reyna barely saw any time. Great quality player. Sebastian Berhalter looked like he was on it when he got in.
He wanted it.
Ricardo Pepi, leading scorer at PSV, I think, didn't get in. Haji Wright, scorer at Coventry City, now in the EPL, winner of the championship, doesn't see any time until 1 minute tonight. What the hell is that? It doesn't make any sense. And Brendan Harrison, who plays for Leeds in the EPL, doesn't see any team. And then Timothy Weah doesn't see any time. Pochettino doesn't understand the U.S. any better than any other coach that's come before him, in my opinion. And as such, we need to go back to the drawing board, get rid of Poch, find somebody better, find somebody who understands the American ethos.
Me.
And, I mean, you would have done better tonight. The Americans were essentially flat. They never showed up to their game. Pochettino said as much after. He's like, we just didn't show up. How can you not show up when there's 60,000 plus people in the stadium? You're in your home country. You're playing Belgium for revenge in a Belgium that hasn't hit its heights yet. So, I don't know. Axel, anything to add? I'm not going to say much more because I know I'm being a little negative.
Top 8 team of the World Cup.
2? Yeah.
Well,
Congrats to Belgium. They did play well. We should mention that. Rudy Garcia, again, started the game without his top players that have historically been there, and they still beat the U.S. handily. Sorry.
No, not much. I mean, they lost to Belgium with basically out a De Bruyne, Doku, Lukaku, right? Like without a front line, basically. So
Well, they
it's
let De Ketelaere score twice when he hadn't scored before.
you,
So
Yeah,
there
I
you
you
go.
know what I mean.
He-
You know
he
what I
got
mean.
67.
Axel
So the guy who looked completely impotent for Belgium in every previous game, who got hooked first in every previous game, to Ketelaere, who was a good player, scored 2 goals against the U.S. And so, again, if you look historically at the U.S., this has been a problem. The defensive solidity of the team has been a problem. Chris Richards is a good player. He plays for Palace. He's been there with Palace. What the hell happens when he looks like he did tonight is a communication and coaching error. It's not on the player individually. It's on the whole team. So anyway, let's move on to tomorrow. I'm predicting an Egypt win over Argentina.
Let's go Egypt!
No, we'll talk about Argentina versus Egypt and Switzerland versus Colombia. Axel, why don't you take the number 1 Argentinians versus the number 29
The
Egyptians?
fake number 1
How
Argentina.
might this end? Tell us what you see happening, and then tell us what you maybe hope happens.
Well, I'm just gonna start off by saying Argentina is definitely not number 1 ranked in the world. It's France, but well, predicted. I want to say I want to see Egypt winning. I really, really do. I just don't see it happening. I think it's possible. I think Argentina almost lost to Cabo Verde. Sorry. I think Egypt. I think Egypt does not have a strong enough lineup. Again, that's what I thought about Cabo Verde, but you're surprised. I just don't think. They do have a little bit to lose, and I think Salah and Marmoush are the only, if you call them class players on their team. I don't see a good enough squad or enough squad depth to beat Argentina.
Yeah. Luke, thoughts on this game?
I really want Egypt to win,
Me too.
but I don't see that happen.
Why not?
Argentina have more talent anywhere. I don't think I would take a player from Egypt, maybe Salah, but over Messi.
Marmoush.
And
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think the only way Egypt win this game is if they go balls to the wall and test the Argentinians from the beginning. If they play conservatively, Argentina will just wear them down, score, and then the game will be over. They have to play like Cabo Verde, where they're strong defensively, take their chances when they come. Argentina is playing like they did in the last World Cup where they won it. They find a way to win. Good teams find a way to win. They don't have to be good on the day. Obviously, we don't have to talk about Messi, but they also got 2 goals from Romero and Martinez last time. So they'll find a way. I think they'll find a way tomorrow. I hope Egypt somehow make it exciting and that they're up for the game. I doubt they'll have a lot of fans in the stadium. It'll be like a home game for Argentina again. And likely Argentina will move on, and we'll not talk about that game much tomorrow, but we'll see. Let's move on to what hopefully it will be a more exciting game, and promises to probably be so. The number 19 Switzerland play number 13 Colombia. Again, we've seen the Swiss live. We've been impressed with Colombia. Monzambi on Switzerland is perhaps the player of the tournament who not many people knew, who we all now know. But Luke, what do you see happening here in this game? Who do you think is going to win, and what's going to happen? Who are the players to watch?
the players to watch are obviously Monzambi. He's had a very good tournament. I think Xhaka, he plays well every game. He's controls Switzerland's midfield. And on Colombia, Luis Diaz is a great player to watch. Had a great first season with Bayern. I think that I think Victor Munoz, who's had a good World Cup, and obviously we've seen on Crystal Palace, is a good player to watch. And even their veteran James Rodriguez, who always seems to try his best.
Yep, he's been solid. Not done a great deal in terms of statistics, but has not made any mistakes either. So he's put in a solid shift in every game. Axel, how do you see this going?
I think
Well, actually, Luke, you never said who's going to win.
I forgot to say. I want Switzerland to win, but I think Colombia will win just because of how they've been playing. They obviously, I would say, the second best game of the tournament now against Portugal. I thought.
What's your first game?
England, Mexico.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Or USA, Belgium.
Axel, what do you see happening here?
I think this will be a good game, probably game to watch tomorrow. I think somehow, in some way, Switzerland have the better players: Manzambi, Mbolo, Ndoye, Vargas, Xhaka, Akanji, Kobel. I know Suarez, Luis Diaz, James Rodriguez, Munoz, Sanchez, all good players.
Yeah, we'll see.
I like Switzerland more as a team. I'd root for Switzerland in any other scenario, but I think I want Colombia to win
Yeah,
being-
especially because I think Colombia can beat Argentina.
because I think
I think
Colombia
either
can
team
beat
can beat
and
Argentina.
I think
see
that-
didn't
I think that Switzerland will win. I don't know why.
Well, it's the 4-2-3-1 of Switzerland against the 4-3-3 of Colombia. Colombia has impressively played well as a team, but frankly, so has Switzerland. Other than the draw we saw against Qatar, but they dominated that game. It was the first game of the tournament. I am surprised at how well Colombia is playing, given that Jefferson Lerma is their center midfield, and though he's a good player, he's not a starter for Crystal Palace. And you have Xhaka and Freuler, who are starters for their respective clubs in Europe. So I think the midfield is with Switzerland, but I think the team, maybe cohesion, is with Colombia. So I think this game comes down to one of those two things. Either as a team, Colombia plays better than Switzerland, or Switzerland has Manzambi or Xhaka show up and give a Bellingham-like performance, and they win. So that's what I see happening. I think Switzerland only wins if someone or other on their team has a super day, and that can happen. But otherwise, I see Colombia as the better cohesive chemistry team. But we will see. That's why they play the game. Today, Luke, any news in the land of football other than the U.S. embarrassing itself yet again?
Obviously, Ronaldo. Last
World Cup. Martinez.
Confirmed?
Yeah,
Well, confirmed. He
said-
did. He
said.
confirmed that this will be his last World Cup at 41 years old. Martinez stepped down as the Portugal manager. Real Madrid is pursuing Haaland, but no deal there, of course. But I don't think there were any other transfers or news.
Romero's trying to go.
We do have some news for England after the game was finished. Jordan Henderson broke his wrist falling over some ad boards, unfortunately, so he will not be available for England for the remainder of the tournament. So England has a definitive defense issue with lack of Reece James. Liver Tremento's out.
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa's red carded. Maybe somebody appeals that, but we see. Let's talk about that as a last point of the day. U.S. obviously didn't show up to their game. They were just slow to every second ball. Didn't put all the cliche stuff. We've all been there as parents and as players and as kids where you've had bad days. But how much do you think it played on the players' minds that Trump interfered and got Balogun's red card overturned? As a player, if you were on the U.S. team, would that have made you feel funny about playing?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would have made me feel like I cheated.
Yeah.
Even though it's not my fault.
And listeners out there, I'm you don't know me. I'm a 50-plus-year-old man. I will win no matter what. That's my motto. I come from that era. I grew up playing with Croats and Mexicans. I will pinch, grab, bite if I have to win. My children, one better maybe than the other. They are more sensitive. They're more kind. They're more not wanting to embarrass the opposition. And so I thought to myself, yeah, I mean, if these kids on the U.S. team think, hey, this is not right, maybe that got into their head. Axel, what do you think?
If
Axel
I was a
would
player,
care.
I wouldn't care.
I would care.
I would genuinely.
Yeah, but you're better at getting your individual moments of glory than your brother. Your brother doesn't want to ruffle the waves, upset the peace.
I don't get it. I mean, it's not my problem. It's not my fault. So I would have not cared that he's Balogun's back. I just don't care.
Yeah, but you're a mini Zlatan, so I'm not sure you're representative of kids these days. So I think it played on their minds. I think they looked flat, and Carly Lloyd after the game said she didn't know why, and we don't know why. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out in the press tomorrow. But I just wonder whether the karma created by our illustrious president rolled down to the U.S. team and played havoc with their mentality, because they were flat. But we wish them well. We hope next time around we do better than round of 16 and get to a quarterfinal game one day. But for now, what do we have left, Luke? Why don't you take us through the remaining games beyond tomorrow? What's left? Just remind the listener. World Cup wise, who's facing who? Norway versus
for the knockout round.
Yeah, the knockout round. So who do we
I
have
want
yet?
I want
Okay, we have France v Morocco, Spain v Belgium. So the winners of those two will meet up, and then we have
Norway, England.
And then either Argentina,
Yes.
Egypt versus Switzerland,
and
Colombia.
Those teams will.
France, England final.
My predictions are France and Spain, and then Argentina and Colombia, and then Argentina and England.
Wow, Argentina.
We have an Argentina.
Argentina, England will be so stressful, listener.
We have an Argentine friend
And we hate it. We hate him, but somehow.
So, but I'll take 1 minute to explain. So, in 1986, Diego Maradona, hand of God, doesn't take an explanation. I was 12. It was a horrible feeling to see somebody cheat and get away with it. I didn't understand as a 12-year-old why we didn't have VAR or something like that back then, or where there was an appeals process for such a blatant cheat. And I particularly didn't understand, as an American trying to follow news, which was really difficult back then, why Diego Maradona was lauded for cheating. I know he was a wonderful player. He was an awful human being, in my opinion. I'm allowed my opinion, and you're certainly allowed to disagree with me. But I don't get the cult of praising players who are not good people. Full credit to Messi, full credit to Ronaldo, full credit to Bellingham, to Kane. These are upstanding individuals who are examples to our young players and our kids. Rashford, who's fed half the nation during COVID. Like, that's what a player should be, in my opinion. That's who we should laud. That's who we should praise. We shouldn't praise cheating. And again, full circle, I think that cost the U.S. tonight. So anyway, we thank you for joining us. Any last thoughts, Luke or Axel?
Nope.
Moment of the day, though.
Moment of the day. What's your moment of the day? What's your highlight of the day?
Belgium! Lukaku!
Yes, Belgium.
Belgium. I don't know that I have a moment of the day today or highlight of the day. I think it was the lowlights, seeing Portugal go out. But I'm Spain is to be congratulated, so I'll make that my highlight of the day. The team that plays, other than France, the best kind of football all around, was rewarded with victory, and so good on them. So anyway, listener, thank you for joining us. Always call it football. Football is life. We'll see you next time.